first time I saw him, I thought he was gonna be like this tough guy. Like, I don't know, he looked kind of scary. But then when I hung out with him, he wouldn't even look at me. He was so shy.
I look scary.
Yeah.
She walked into the room and I noticed this long blonde hair girl that I had never seen before at church, and I definitely made sure to find out who she was. I definitely thought she was very beautiful, and got to hanging out with her. But I was very shy the first time, and I didn't really say anything at all. So it was kind of awkward at first, but eventually we got talking, and
Yeah, he texted me the whole way there, and then didn't look at me or talk to me. And then after when you left, he texted me.
I'm a shy guy.
I'm like,
Was it Valentine's Day? That counts as our first date, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
We went ice skating at Martin Luther King Memorial Park in Rochester. Freeze over the little fountain there, and it was very cold. We lasted about 15 minutes. But it was a good time.
Yeah. The skates were like way too small, and we had to like climb over like a glacier to get into the park. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh,
Like my
yeah, the
pants were
snowbank.
like wet up to here. And I'm like, I didn't want to tell you I didn't like ice skating, but I was like, I liked you so much.
I like ice skating. Just for me.
And then he whipped out a promise ring. Yeah. And he didn't say anything though, because he's not good with words apparently. And I'm like, what does this mean? Like, I didn't know if he was proposing. I'm like, this is really soon. So I was kind of freaked out, but then I think I just asked you. I don't even know how that
She
went.
asked me, she's like, so once we got in the car, so what does this mean? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, can we be like a thing, like boyfriend and girlfriend now, I guess?
Yeah.
So yeah, I get very
That
caught
was
up in the moment and forget words exist.
Yeah.
So.
We had been like talking for a really long time before that too, and I think that was the first time we told each other we loved each other.
Mhm.
So that was a big. It was like our first date, but we'd just been hanging out like around before that, I guess.
Wait, you love me?
Maybe.
Sometimes.
Hopefully. We're getting married, so.
So I took her to Darien Lake for the day, and I didn't think she suspected anything. So I had all this pre-planned. I went up there the night before, and there was a show there this past year called the Nick Wallenda Show. It's the guy who does the tightrope walking across things like Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon. Anyway, they have this one scene in the show where this comedian named Philippe selects the lady from an audience and serenades her, and then at the end of his act, he asks her to marry her with a note inside the ring box that says "Say No." And this time, after she said no, I came out on stage and did my thing and proposed to her there, and it was pretty neat. But
So it was cool. I definitely wasn't expecting it. Like, we had talked about getting married and all that, and I said, if you ever propose to me, like, don't do it in front of people. And it was like a couple hundred people. And the guy Philippe, who was like kind of, what do you call him? Like,
comedian, I guess.
he was like a comedian, but I saw him at the beginning. I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy is so creepy. I hope he doesn't come near me. And he's like coming around, like looking for a girl to pick from the audience. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't pick me. Like, I was so freaked out by him because he was just very flamboyant and like, I don't know, he reminded me of like Pee Wee Herman or something, who I'm terrified of. And so anyways, he picked me and I went along with it because I started to kind of think something, but I was really happy when he came out in dress clothes. I think that was what made me the happiest.
Oh yeah, he went back behind stage and changed and everything.
Yeah, he changed and everything because he had like shorts on and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is it. But I mean, I guess I probably would have cared. I was emotional. I cried, and he barely got like a word out.
Again, I couldn't get words out.
Yeah,
so
he couldn't say
she-
anything. So.
I don't even know if I asked him.
I don't think he asked me to.
Pretty sure I knelt down and opened a ring box and was like,
I think it was assumed, but I guess that's just what we do.
So I took her to Darien Lake one day, and I don't think she suspected anything. It's just
Strobe light.
Yeah, no, it's like split train.
so. Brought her to Darien Lake one day, and and then the lights started flickering.
Hello. Hello.
What happened?
How did we get engaged?
Is it recording now?
Yeah.
All right. So, I took her to Darien Lake for the day, and
Don't record that.
I
Wait,
didn't-
start over. I just
Why?
like did this really awkward hair flip. I had this thing in my face.
I've said I've taken her to Darien Lake like 16 times already.
All right, so you gotta look cute.
This is like the real truth. Because he has a movie theater room in his parents' house.
There, both of you just death staring.
No.
1, 2, 3, turn.